Hey gun people! I got my earplugs on because I'm going to shoot my gun. I remembered this time so I don't have to go, ow, my ears. So that last video we did on, I posted about the security guard. I wanted to go over a couple stances, and the sun's pretty bright out here. So I think I'm going to be in picture, but let's, a couple people were cracking on the security guard because they weren't really cracking on him, they were making an observation. So when a guy drew his gun, he was relaxed, he was standing off center, and he was leaning on the counter. Now some people were saying he had, well maybe he had a leg injury, a previous leg injury. Maybe so. But this is a very awkward stance to start drawing and shooting unless you're practicing it. I mean, if I wanted to shoot at this thing, I could draw and put a couple rounds on target. But normally if I'm setting up like this, my target isn't moving. When your target moves and you're moving to dodge bullets or to get better position, you have to have footing. Now talk about that tactical walk, the bending the knees, the hips, the moving slow to keep that thing steady. One of the guys says they call it a moving turret. When you're walking, you should be like a turret, you shouldn't move. So what's the best way? And there was also a lot of comments about, I need to learn how to shoot one-handed. Now when you're in a panic and shooting, stance isn't always an immediate factor. If you can get a two-handed grip, it's always better. We teach when you do a two-handed grip, your off foot or your non-strong side, your non-weapon side foot is in front, because that gives you the more aggressive stance. I can get a much more aggressive stance like this than like this because I'm twisting and torquing my body to get around. So if my strong foot's forward, I'm really torqued out. If it's straight, I'm a little better. If it's in front, I'm a little bit more aggressive. So understanding feet placement, I want that 60-40 transfer of weight squatting so I can move. So if I do move, I'm somewhat stable. Remember, when a gun fires back, you've got forces coming back. So I'm leaning and pushing forward to fight those forces coming back. When I start moving laterally and I've got forces coming back and I'm pushing forward, it throws in a lot of factors. Is there a perfect way? Look, you train, you kind of learn to do things and you do it the best you can. So if I had to shoot one hand, let's say my hand's hurt. When we teach shooting police, or even in military, I'm assuming they teach it, but I don't remember if we taught it in military when I was in there, but civilian for sure we teach it. When you're shooting a one-handed stance, you still want that front foot forward and that good aggressive stance, and we even teach a little cant, just a little bit. Just like when you punch, if you punch like this, you don't get as much force as if you punch like that. It just gives you a straight and arrow from your arm. So if you're punching a gun out and you punch it like this, it's going to stabilize you. Now, I instinctively always, if you see me shoot one-handed, and I wasn't talking about this topic, my hand is always in my chest area for several reasons. One, I'd rather my bullet stop it than my heart, so it gives me a little bit more protection. When you clench your body in a crisis and you shrink down, you kind of strengthen it. It just compounds you. Versus if you're all out here trying to shoot scattered, the closer you can get in and really tactically squat down and get in close, you just get your strength together. All your pulling and pulling, your muscles and tendons are really tight. You just have a better stance. So naturally, when you're shooting, a lot of people will teach this contraction or compaction of your body to where I'm not like this and off balance. A lot of shooting, a lot of things that require movement, you have to have prior learning so later learning is easier. Okay? If you try to learn words without learning the alphabet, it's much more difficult. If you learn the alphabet, you learn sounds, then it makes learning words easier. So in shooting or anything, prior learning, well, shooting, although people don't think it is somewhat of an aggressive physical thing. If you're shooting and you're just going bang, bang, throwing your bullets, I call it, bang, bang. If you're shooting like that, it's probably not too aggressive. But if I'm getting a good white knuckle grip and I've got a double stance and my muscles are tense and I've got a good straight solid grip and my core is tense and my legs are spread and I'm squatting and I'm ready to run, move, jump, or do what I need to do, all that requires energy, oxygen. That's why your heart rate goes up, etc. So I guess to the point of the video, shooting with one hand, if you've got two hands, you contract the body. If you're shooting with one hand, you still want that contraction of the body. You still want that tenseness to where it's going to give me a little more power. One, it's good for blocking. Two, it's good for defense. If somebody grabs my hand's already here. I can come down, I can rip and pull, knock that hand off that gun for gun retention. So having this hand up close, I can shield my eyes, I can stop things that are thrown, and I can retain my gun. Plus it gets my hand closer to this. Even if I'm hurt, if I'm shot in the hand, I can't use it. If I'm shooting, I'm gonna be somewhat in this position. My hand is gonna be here to give me more of that compacted, strengthening body. So, should you practice shooting? I don't know if that target's in there. Let me see if that target's in there. I'll do some cheesy shots. Okay. Let me move back just a little bit. I'm out as far as I can zoom out. So between the wind and hearing me, we'll try to do it as best we can. So, if you're practicing shooting, should you practice facing this way, drawing your gun, and putting around on target? Sure. That's not a bad drill, because you may have to, if this arm is disabled, put around over here, and then put around over there. So, could you practice that? Sure. Is it likely that it's going to happen, that you're going to be facing this way, and you're going to be drawing and shooting like this? Probably not. If I'm facing this way and a target comes over here, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to do this and tactically sound up and move, change my position. I don't want to stand like this. Now this is a good bladed stance because I'm not giving them a large target, but it's not a good stable shooting platform. If I draw and come out like this, I've got a much more stable platform. So when you're shooting, that's the thing you want to think about. What's practical? Should I run around and go la 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 la? I don't think that's practical, because that's not how it's going to happen. It's going to happen to where your heart rate's going to go up, you're going to go into panic, and you're going to move, stumble, squat, head for cover, try to shoot around something, just like that guy did in that video. And I'll put a link for those that didn't see it, a security guard who shot a bank robber. But the one-handed shooting is one of those things that, well, should you do it? Yeah. Is it going to prepare you? It's going to expose you and put things, what I call, in your toolbox to make it easier to grab from. Somebody that gets in a shooting the day after they go to the range, if they have good shooting skills and they practice good tactical skills, they're going to do much better in that shooting than the guy that went to the range 2 years ago and he gets in a shooting. It's not fresh. You're not renewing it. You're not, remember I talked about those perishable skills. You're not renewing those perishable skills. So if I've got a target over here and I need to shoot it with one hand, I'm gonna be moving away, creating distance, getting that gun out and getting rounds off. Should you practice that? Sure. I always like practicing shooting forward. A lot of cop agencies didn't like it when I taught other agencies, either FBI agents or other federal agencies, or different, like if I was teaching SAC guys or I was teaching Placer County guys or someone else, they came out to range day, sometimes we train together, They did not like me teaching moving in on the target. They did not, they said, well, you should never move in. You should always, bullshit. If I'm in a fight and I can't get out of it and I gotta take this guy out, maybe running when I have no cover is not the best option. Maybe it is. But you gotta realize cops, a lot of times, not me, I didn't wear a vest a whole bunch. Most cops wear vests, so you are a little bit more protected. And if you're moving in on a target, not only is it intimidating, you're getting hits on target, you're decreasing in space, you're increasing your accuracy. So it's not always just to run away. So how do you shoot one-handed? I don't know if you saw how I shot. Again, I try to get here. Can I get a headshot? Sure. If I get down on my side, I can get a headshot. Can I get a body shot with no sights? Sure. I wanted to change earlier. I thought I was about out. So anyway, one-handed shooting, good, bad, and different. Again, train moving in and moving back. If I'm on this target here, I want to move in, move back, move sideways. I want to be doing all those different things. So in a shooting, when I know I'm going to be moving, I've got it in my bank. Pull my earplugs out. I've got those things in my blank. Hopefully I was in camera, because I can't. Was I in camera? Shit, I don't even know if I was in camera. Anyway, shooting one-handed, again, what I like is that contraction of the body, making yourself smaller, going into that semi-fetal, which is natural, which you really can't prevent. I'm making myself a smaller target. I'm compressing my muscles so I can jump, so I can run, so I can punch, so I can fight and resist. You're not going to be much of a fight and a resistor if you got your arms out like this and you're just hanging around doing that. So, contraction is good. Keeping your offhand up. If for some reason this hand gets hurt and I have to switch hands, same thing. I'm going to start with this hand up and get this arm out here. All right? Can I shoot this way? Sure. Should you practice maybe shooting a couple shots across? Yeah, you might be in a car. You might be in a way to where you couldn't turn around. You may run up to a wall and you have to peek around a wall this way. I really like switching hands and shooting, doing them on both hands so you can shoot and transfer the gun and feel comfortable. But one-handed shooting, maybe a little cant, not the gangster upside down sideways, a little cant, good locking arm, good contracted body, get this second hand in here for blocking, gun retention, etc. So hopefully that helps a little bit, and hopefully the wind wasn't too bad and you can hear me yelling. We'll end that there.